everybody, welcome to another edition of Flames Unfiltered. We are your hosts Kyle Lewis and Brad Burud, back from a unexpected and unintentional hiatus due to travel and illness. So, Brad, how you feeling?
I'm better. Yeah, I'm better today. I want to apologize. A week ago we had a show planned. Kyle was on the road. We were going to do a remote show and with a guest, and that week my mom ended up in the hospital with some serious medical stuff, and so that kind of got shelved. And then as soon as I get somewhat good news and some things going in the right direction with that, I don't know what I got, but I was unmovable for the last couple days, and today I am finally back on my feet. And I do apologize because we have some pretty loyal listeners, and I really appreciate that. And I like doing it every week too. So for us missing it, it isn't the easiest thing in the world either, right, Cal?
No, it rarely happens. And I mean, glad to hear that your mom's doing a lot better, and obviously you are too. It's it's one of those things that happens occasionally. And I mean, right now, man, it seems like everybody is sick. Like everybody, family, friends, colleagues, you name it.
It is. It's a weird time of year where everything's going around. Let's just hope in the next couple of weeks before the holidays, because Christmas is coming upon us here soon, and we want to get everybody on the right page and healthy and feeling good. Because you know what? When you're not feeling good or you got an important family member that's not doing well, like nothing really matters. It's it really doesn't.
Channeling your inner Devin Cooley there.
No kidding. I didn't even mean to do that, but it doesn't. It puts things in perspective and gets you thinking. So, but all seems to be good now. And you got to go out to Calgary for a game. They win that. These damn Blasty jerseys. I don't know, Kyle.
Yeah, I bought this fancy new hoodie while I was out there. I can't go to the Saddledome and not buy some new gear. So I got this, and I got a new toque. It was a lot of fun. I mean, the week was nuts. I was super busy with Canadian home builder related activities, meetings and tours and whatnot. But the game was great. Crowd was great as always. Got to meet Bret the Hitman Hart, which was amazing as a huge wrestling fan. So that was cool. Big week all around. And then I got back on this past Friday and got home at like 6:00. Met my brother at 7 to go get a bite to eat. Went to the local casino to see Great White and Slaughter at 8. So by the time I hit the pillow, I was dead.
How was it?
It was really, really good.
I heard Slaughter is really good lately. I've heard they've been good.
Yeah, they sounded great. Their drummer's incredible. And in Great White's case, Brett Carlisle did a phenomenal job, filling in for the late great Jack Russell. So all around great show, great crowd. It was kind of cool too because Slaughter's a big favorite of my brother's, and Great White is a big favorite of mine. So we kind of get the best of both worlds and had a really fun night. So, but all told, man, it was a long, tiring week, and then to get back and kind of get raring to go with a bunch of different stuff, including our show, and then to see you laid up as so many others are. It was like, especially so close to Christmas, man, that had to be tough.
It's been frustrating. I just, we finally got my mom kind of somewhat situated, and I mean that's still not ideal, but it's much better than what it was going. And so I just kind of get that relief, and then all of a sudden I'm just I'm like down for the count, and like I try to gut through. We both have gutted through some shows. It just wasn't going to happen. I couldn't even think straight. I laid in bed on. What night did we play? I don't even remember who we played. Buffalo. I laid in bed and listened to it. I couldn't even keep my eyes open to watch it. I've rewatched parts of it now, so I somewhat know what went on. But it is rough. But
and you rarely miss anything when it comes to watching Flames hockey, man.
No.
I think I do a pretty good job keeping up with the games, but I mean I've never known you to miss anything, and if you do, you certainly catch it as soon as you possibly can. So that really tells me and our listeners what kind of shape you've been in. So, but that said, welcome back. Glad to see you're on the mend. A lot has changed. The Flames are a decent hockey team, much to the chagrin of many of late.
So you know what? That's going to throw us. I mean, this is off the cuff, but this is throwing us to our X Factor that quickly.
Wow, that's a record.
That is a record for the X Factor. This one comes from Chase. It says, "Sigh. The McKenna dream was nice while when it lasted. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like I've always been the one to be like, hey, no, you can't. I'm not tanking. I cheer for wins. I'm a hockey fan. I don't cheer for losses, but I don't cheer for wins like I used to, because I do believe that the best course of action is to make sure that we solidify a top 3 pick this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I believe for the future of this organization that is the path that has the highest upside.
You know what's funny is that literally just prior to coming on to record this episode, I finished reading Doug McLean's book, local PEI boy, former GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes.
It's all about drafting, and it explicitly talks about the importance of drafting high and drafting top 3 and how different that is. Because even in a deep draft, like we always reference 2003, drafting in that top 3 is so critical. But the thing is, you juxtapose that against my recent visit to the Saddle Dome, and it's so hard to not get into it, and kind of reignites you, being a fan, to watch them play live and to be around the fans and stuff. But you can't lose sight of that greater goal. So it's a really confusing time for me, because a lot of the young guys have played really well. Wolf's been much better, because Netsov is a standout NHL defenseman at this point in my mind, just as a couple examples. So, but I don't want to lose that dream. And to make Chase feel better, and thanks, Chase, for that. Chase loves to run his mouth on X. That's one of the things I like the most about him. There's still lots of season left. The dream is not dead. It's just currently in flux.
The dream of making the playoffs, or the dream of...
excuse me. That dream is long dead. The dream of drafting top 3 is not dead.
Okay, but I agree with you, and I'm definitely not arguing that at all. But as I pull up the standings here, it does scare me a little bit. Like, it scares me. Like, we're flirting a little too close here.
Yep, we are.
And I'm worried about what management does and what kind of nonsense is going to happen because of that. Now, I did see some odds, like the Athletic were still projected to finish 31st. There's a couple other I saw a couple bet lines. They were finished between 28th and 30th. Those are still the projections.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I'm not gonna lie. I open up the standings and I look and I see where we're at, and I'm like, crap, we're flirting. I mean, we're 28 points, 31's a wild card spot. We win tonight, which we don't record usually on game days, which this is a Wednesday, and the Flames play the Red Wings tonight at home. And we don't usually do that, but we're doing this because of the circumstances. But we win tonight. We're at 30. We're 1 point out of a wild card spot.
Crazy, isn't it? So
mind blowing.
It's a little. It kind of sucks you in, because this early juncture in the season, it's not as it's early, but it's not crazy early, I guess, at this point.
A bright spot. We do have the hardest schedule, supposedly. What does it say here? We have the hardest schedule of the remaining teams in that race for the bottom, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But it's not unusual this time of year for there to be so much congestion that will cause the erroneous belief, and it has happened, like the St. Louis Blues a few years ago, and then they won the cup. The erroneous belief that you can be dead last or near dead last in the NHL and then make up for all that lost ground. But the Flames were so terrible to start the year, mathematically improbably bad.
Oh, like we knew they weren't that bad.
It wasn't possible for them to sustainably be that bad. So, man, I got a lot of syllables going on here. The reality is they're still not a very good hockey team, and they seem to know it, because they constantly emphasize the way they have to play to be successful, which is not a sustainable, winning franchise way to play hockey for any length of time. What I'm trying to get at is that there's plenty of season left where other teams, the contenders instead of the pretenders, will continue to get better, and teams like the Flames will continue to fade into somewhat obscurity. The challenge, and I think what you're alluding to, and the fear, is that they'll use this recent uptick in play to delusionally tell themselves that they can still make the playoffs and thereby hang on to pieces that they absolutely have to trade this season to maximize their value.
That is exactly my fear. Because I do believe that, like you said, the cream rises, and I don't think we're in the cream that's rising to the top.
Far from it.
But when we've questioned ownership and management for many months now about the direction for the year, and the word out of the gate this year was we're trying to make the playoffs. Yep. And you sit and you look and you're like a game and a half out of a playoff spot. Yep. It scares that's the part that scares me the most. And then, like what happens, Anderson, not re-signing in Calgary. That's one back and forth now too. I think we need regardless of where we are in the standings right now, the move to make that's going to better the future of this organization is to maximize two, if not three of the veterans. And I'm speaking of Anderson, Kadri for sure. And possibly Blake Coleman. You could probably talk me into making him part of the veteran core for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and you've kind of told that line a bit now. I mean, the market for a guy like him should be quite hot. I think what we need to try and, again, it's actions, not words, right? So forget about what Don Maloney said. We all had a lot of, I was going to say fun, but it wasn't fun. We all, bitched and moaned about it, rightfully so.
It was not fun.
No, it was miserable. But Conroy kind of came back with the correct messaging a week or so later. If we're still talking about these sorts of issues by late January, because the team's still, treading water, not terrible, not great, or they're seemingly fighting for a playoff spot, then I'll start to panic. For now, I fully expect that this run of better play amongst all these guys, pretty well all these guys, now that I think of it as I'm speaking, it's going to just jack up their trade value. So the hope is that when that deadline day rolls around, the Calgary Flames are getting call after text after call of picks and prospects and everything they need to move these guys at the highest possible price. Rasmus Anderson's playing the best hockey of his career. Blake Coleman is Blake Coleman, which means he's damn good and consistent as he always is.
Consistent being the key word there.
Yeah, Kadri's line, and much to my surprise, Farabee's been fantastic along with Kadri, and Sharon Govich all of a sudden is stringing together a point streak and multi-point games, right?
Is okay, and God, I sound like the most negative person in the world because I should be jumping for joy that Sharon Govich is jumping off the on the score sheet and is actually looking like he's engaged, and we should be ecstatic about that, right? And I am, but I would feel so much more confident if I just, and it sounds so crazy because like, would I want this team to make the playoffs? Absolutely. But like, I just don't feel like we would win. So I believe that, and I was like the most old school guy about this, and you can vouch for that. I honestly believe right now that we have to get a top 3 pick for the betterment of the future.
Of course we do. Absolutely we do. We have to do it for the better of like now, my opinion. Guys like Celebrini, Bedard, and I expect McKenna will do the same. That's to nothing of all the others. They are impact players right away. But the thing that's different, and again, I'm trying to be the positive one here, and God knows I'm not known for that in any aspect of my life. The Flames, unlike all those years of barely making the playoffs or barely missing the playoffs, our cupboards are very well stocked. We definitely need a star center, but Brzustewicz is playing against Detroit. Perek is no longer wearing a no contact jersey and he's going to the World Junior Championships. Gridden's lighting up the AHL. Kuznetsov has emerged as, like I said, a really good NHL defenseman. These are not things that we necessarily had happening consistently or any amount of players in the past. So I'm trying to focus on that while maintaining my belief we are going to get, the highest draft pick we've probably ever had. Until I have reason to believe otherwise. And this recent hot streak, I'm not going to let it convince me that it's going to be otherwise.
Yeah.
That's a choice I'm making, and it's a choice I'm encouraging all of you out there to make too, is remain positive.
You nailed it. I mean, like, I think Kuznetsov is the highlight of the year, probably so far, the biggest bright spot of the year.
on the NHL roster, yes, I think Gridden's up there, but he's not with the big team right now.
What we've seen from Gridden pre going to the AHL and what he's done in the AHL has been wonderful. What Cole Reshney is doing at the University of North Dakota, which I went and watched a couple weeks ago. Seems like years. He is exceeding expectations at that level. I said, and now we're going to be excited to see if he can make the World Junior team for Team Canada as an 18-year-old. I mean, that's a tough team to make. So if he makes that team, that's a giant win right there.
Absolutely.
We can see where Zane Parekh goes. I have mixed feelings on that. I pray for the very, very, very best there. And I want to see his upper body development in the next 24 months. But I have high hopes there.
Yep.
I look at what we've seen with Devin Cooley lately and solidifying our back end there and what that can do for the future. And what Owen Say is doing with his first shutout, 44 saves the other night for the Wranglers. We do have some definite bright spots. So all that being said, the bright spots of the pieces we can move and how these will integrate over the next 5 years is amazing. Now you add a Keaton Verhoff or Connor McKenna. I can't say
Kevin McKenna.
Alan McKenna to the mix, and I mean it changes the whole look of the fan base, right? Because if I asked you right now, what does the fan base believe is priority number one? What would you say?
Franchise center.
I would agree. And so we get this BS story. You can call it what you want. I believe it's a complete BS story that, we had a Conroy contract all signed and ready to go. We just didn't say anything because it's hard to throw out a contract when we're struggling. Baloney. This contract was put together as soon as the shit hit the fan with the Maloney conversation. And I don't like how the team handled it. They treat this fan base. And gosh, you can listen to a lot of past episodes. I went to bat for management and ownership, but this time I can't go to bat for ownership because it was Bush League, and they try to like hoodwink this fan base and treat us like we're uneducated, stupid hockey people, and it's somewhat insulting to the fan base.
Well, I think that's why there was so much vitriol around it, and justifiably so. And you see, I mean, you saw editorials, another podcast, and distinguished members of the media, everybody, piling in on this. Whether Frank Saravelli had a lot to say, Eric Francis had a lot to say, our friends at Flames Nation had a lot to say, Red Mile Rundown. Like I could go on and on. Like everybody recognized, like this is a bunch of BS. Like this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And the contract announcements. I mean. The whole thing, like you didn't have to say anything. You could have just announced them and then they're done deals and move on. Like to try and save face like that is a really underhanded kind of stupid thing to do. Because sometimes there's nothing wrong with being a little bit shamed publicly by saying, you know what, we made the right move in the end. We're not going to address our comments. They are what they are. Let's just move past it and forget about it. Like it's just, what's the point of all that? To try and make your fan base believe you had their best interest in mind all along, which realistically they didn't, because a lot of people are still upset, as I kind of am. The guys like, Nonis, Maloney, and Pascal got extensions because I don't think Pascal's done a good job with the Wranglers. I give him that, but I'm not a fan of keeping any of those guys around, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, but I think we'd all be fine with it if we knew the role that Conroy truly had.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I've defended Conroy and I'm happy with the re-signing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy with the Husker re-signing, but I'm happy with the Conroy re-signing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, what happens this year really truly determines if I'm happy with Conroy or not.
Yeah. And the problem is we don't really know the extent of his authority, right?
And that's exactly my point. Like we don't know how much authority he has. And I want to love Conroy and I want to be a super big Conroy fan. And I am at this point now. But if he lets me down just because he was a star for the team doesn't mean I'm going to speak any differently than I would when I'm frustrated with a Tree Living move.
Yeah.
Do you think, Edmonton's freaking better at this than we are. Do you think we get enamored with past stars and they get free passes on crappy decisions because they were?
I don't know.
I see this whole fan base, not the whole, but most of the fan base is in love with Conroy, and I am too at this point. I've been very happy with his moves. I think he could probably say, "Gosh, I'd like to have that one back on a couple things," but I don't think you're ever going to be a GM and not have that. I think the best GMs in the world could make a list.
Man, Doug McLean has a chapter in his book about the Zhirdev drafting, right? And McLean talks about, a few times with the book about, as anybody would in his position. I mean, my role as a account manager / salesperson, like I made some bad deals, I've made some mistakes. We all do. It's funny. Like I have so many thoughts and wants I can't even articulate a single one. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that, to your point, yes, everybody makes mistakes, but some of them we can't even necessarily judge yet because we'll see. Maybe that Vegas pick from the Mirmanov trade turns into found gold, right? But generally speaking, Conroy has made far more good moves than bad, although there's a few bad ones for sure. But we're all going to judge him based on what he does with these players in the next few months, and we're going to assume, or we should assume, to make so we can sleep at night, we're going to assume that he has the authority to make the trades that he sees fit to send this hockey club continually in the direction it should be going in. Because we can sit here, as we often have, and we'll continue to do, and debate the amount of authority he has to make the deals he has to make. We've heard about in the past, Ken King, God rest his soul, people had to go to him for permission, or he would go to Murray Edwards for permission. The Flames have done enough to restock their cupboards in recent years and made some really astute trades and some smart signings that I want to believe the direction has changed at least enough, despite the narrative, despite the Maloney comments. They've done it at least enough that I think they're on the right track. But the challenge for them, it's like anything, right? It's like, that's kind of a funny analogy, but let's say like they're heavy drinkers, right? And now they're sober and they're trying to stay sober. And there's the temptations of going out for a beer again, which in this, stupid analogy of mine means, we're going to sign a guy we don't need. We're not going to trade a guy. You got to trust them to stick to the plan, even if the plan is foreign to them, right? And we all have examples of that in our professional and personal lives too. It's a hard thing to chart a new course. And so far, so good. Again, despite the narrative, I'm trying to put that behind me, and it's very hard to do. And if the deadline passes and those three players we keep talking about are still Flames, it will be the most belligerent, vulgar episode of Flames Unfiltered you've ever heard. I'll get suspended from this podcast like I just got suspended from Twitter last week. I think I'm back on in a day and a half. But anyway,
I'm hoping and praying that doesn't happen, and I believe that the two of the three will. I don't think all three will. I don't. And I don't necessarily think I'll be totally upset if they don't all three happen. But I think it is so clearly determined that Anderson and Kadri have to go that we're fools if we don't, right? We're just fools if we don't.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen a lot, but even if the team and the player felt in Kadri's case or even Anderson's, but I'll reference Kadri for this one because he's a forward, hey, you should come back and mentor our kids. Go take another run at another cup like you won with Colorado. Let's talk in the summer, But I guess in his case, he wouldn't be a free agent. Anderson would be. But just something like that, maybe they can make a deal with the team where after the season's I don't know. There's different ways a player can come back if they really wanted to. But
I'm going to be a total jerk. If someone's willing to give Anderson $9 million a year,
then see you later. Sure.
There's no way. I love what he's doing this year. I did not love what he did last year.
Nobody did,
and that scares me because we get what would we get, right? And I don't know, but
I'm not endorsing any of this, by the way. I think it would be stupid, but I think at the end of the day, if a player really likes where he's at and you can make a deal to move him, make the deal. You never know what's going to happen in the future, right? Do you ever think Mike Comrie was going to go back and play for the Oilers after he left? No, but he did.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's just about not overreacting. I mean, it's about having, productive, entertaining banter with other fans and other media. You can't worry about it too much until it comes to pass. And if it comes to pass that they don't make the moves they need to make, then we can hit the panic button.
Speaking of overreacting.
Oh God.
If you were in the GM seat right now and you've watched the play of Devin Cooley and you've watched the play of Dustin Wolf, Are you trying to re-sign Devin Cooley? Are you trying to trade Devin Cooley? Are you just trying to wait the year out with Devin Cooley?
Well, I would have said wait the year out had it not been for the goaltending struggles in Montreal, the goaltending struggles / injuries in Winnipeg. Who else is having goalie issues?
By the way, Connor Hellebuck on the ice today with the team jersey practicing.
Good. Well, they need him. Good. The fact that there's a market for a goaltender in Laurent Brossoit who hasn't played for a year and a half in Chicago because they have a logjam of goaltenders. Like, the goaltending market is such that you have to explore it, I think. As much as I love Devin Cooley's sound bites, and I love his play, he's been fantastic. Although he got shelled in his last outing, we'll see what happens with Detroit. But
so what? Let me throw this two sides because we do need a solid backup here in Calgary. So what would the return be that would get you to pull the trigger?
Honestly, second round pick.
Okay.
Maybe a third. A second's probably a little high. I mean, there's not a big body work there, right?
It's funny you said second because I was thinking the highest we would be offered would be a third, and I would say no. If I was to be offered a second, I would say yes.
Yep. But it's a deep draft, so a third it means as much as a second in other years, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is
mathematical. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're saying with it being a deep draft, but that's not guarantees either. So
yeah. So like, how would I say that? It's just worth more. But the goaltending market is such that I think you would have to explore trade options. Hey, you're looking for a goalie? We got a couple of good ones, and we got one we'd be willing to part with. Because even then, with every passing summer and every new season, a good, reliable backup goaltender is not typically super hard to find. It's like a fourth line center. There's enough good ones out there. You can find one. When you consider what the Flames did last summer with having Cooley and then getting Brzustewicz, like there's options out there, and goalies are like people always say they're like voodoo. So I think you should absolutely poke around on that, and because of all the goaltending issues in the league, I think there's a market for him that's higher than would otherwise be.
Yeah, I would agree.
But if he stays, I love the guy. I'm more than happy to keep him.
Yeah, me too. I'm really interested to see. I think he would be a reasonable price tag for us for a next year's thing. I'm interested to see what happens with Owen Say over the next couple of years. Yeah. I feel pretty solid on the goalie front. There was definitely a blip there for Dustin Wolf where I was not happy with his play. And he had one against Buffalo that went in that I wasn't happy with that ended up getting called back. But irregardless, like we can all think Dustin Wolf is the greatest thing in the world, and I do too. Like he's gonna have his moments, right? He's a human being. He's like any other goalie in this league. So you kind of ride the waves, right?
Second year goaltenders in terms of second year starters often struggle in the early part of the season. It's not an unusual thing. Nope. Especially when your team is as shitty as the Flames have been for a large portion of the season to date. So I'm not the least bit worried about him. Yeah, I'm a little, I won't say surprised, but a little so that the Flames are going back to Devin Cooley for the game against Red Wings, considering Wolf has played so much better in his last couple starts. But
I love it though. I love it.
And why do you love it?
I think you have to manage this a little bit better than we did early in the season.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Cooley got enough of a look.
I'm not even I'm it actually gives me a little bit of comfort that the plan is being put out the way we want it.
Yeah, and it can also conceivably, again, create more of a trade value for Cooley the more he plays, right?
Well, but like we don't want to run Wolf ragged in a year that we don't feel that we're what I would say a growth year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely.
You know what I mean by that?
Yep. Well, because it can do a couple of different things. I mean, it happened to Marc-Andre Fleury in Pittsburgh, and he got shelled the first year or two, and first year for sure. And despite all that, he still developed into a Hall of Fame goaltender. But those types of seasons can ruin, goaltending is very much a mental thing, right?
Yeah.
It can absolutely ruin a player too. So I think you have to be very careful of that. I think Wolf is tremendously strong mentally from everything he's said and shown, but I have no issue with him having less starts this season, none whatsoever. A 50-30 split, even 45 and change, I'm happy with.
You made a comment earlier in the show where you said that guys like Anderson and Kadri are just increasing their trade worth.
Mhm.
And I completely agree with your comment. But I do have a side note to that. Does the fear factor of an injury worry you to the point that you feel, because I don't know how it would ever be as a GM, but I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not worried to the point like a Chris Tanev worried, but I'm worried to a point of like, would I take a slight amount less to make a deal now? Because that helps you twofold. It weakens the team a little bit and makes the direction more clear in the wins losses category. It also gives guys like Hunter Brzustewicz, which I'm excited to watch tonight, the opportunity to see if he can grow and give a little bit more of our youth opportunities to find their way, I guess, if that's the right word, or find out what they are, right? It scares me because, and you know what really gets me scared? Because us Flames fans have been known to have bad things happen. And I worry a lot about Anderson going to the Olympics and something in that intense of a game, that intense of a play, having something happen to a guy. And then we're what? We're getting nothing.
I don't think that happens very often.
I would, you are right. You are right.
Yeah. So
all it has to happen is once. And what does that do to our plan?
Well, it throws it off the rails a bit in terms of your ability to acquire more assets, of course. But realistically, unless it was a catastrophic injury, God forbid, it's going to lessen his trade value. But he's still likely to be moved, right? Unless it was like an
ACL. I mean, I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to. Yeah, you're being Mr. Positive today, and I'm being Mr. Negative. And a couple of weeks ago was the opposite, right? But those things do scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I think Kuna Matata. Can't really worry about it. I mean, it's easier said than done till it happens, but it's just like, I'll liken it to this. We actually, I think they were talking about me at work recently, if not mistaken, and somebody had said, like, well, what if Kyle?
Are you sure you're okay, Kyle?
Why? Because I'm being positive.
Very positive today. Like,
well, I had a really rough day, and I decided I got to change my attitude about things, right? So,
all right, I like
it. Well, it may only be temporary. Bear with us. There was a comment made like, well, what if Kyle leaves? It's like, okay, well, what if he leaves? You figure it out, right? Yeah. Well, it's a huge loss. Not to pump my own tires, but I mean, I'm good at what I do, or I wouldn't be there, or wouldn't still be there, I guess. But ultimately, that's how sports are too. Like, if that happens, and again, God forbid, it sucks and you deal with it. It's like, who got hurt at the World Championships last year? Was it Charlie McAvoy? And Don Sweeney was just fuming pissed. I don't think I made that up.
No, I think you're right. God, I care so little about the World Championships.
Or not the World Championships, sorry, the Four Nations Cup.
Oh, the Four Nations. Was it?
I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's happened before. It'll happen again. The Olympics, like as you said, are very intense. I don't really worry about it. I mean, because what good is that going to be? I got enough shit to worry about, right? Who doesn't?
Solid point. Yeah. Speaking of worrying, there is a group of fans that I like to watch worry, and that's the
Vancouver Canucks. I was talking to my buddy Matt 2 days ago. He's at a couple of Canucks games this week, and yeah,
they're a train wreck. They're gonna freaking beat us out for the worst team in the league, and it's gonna piss me off even more.
Yeah, no, and they are, and it's the same thing as the PR fiasco they created around JT Miller and Elias Pettersson last year. It's like, man, what are you guys doing? Why do you have to air all of your dirty laundry all the goddamn time?
They've made some of the most idiotic decisions ever, and now they're going to lose Quinn Hughes over this. They're going to lose Quinn Hughes. He's going to be gone.
They're going to lose Quinn Hughes. I mean, they're going to lose Quinn Hughes for probably a lot less than they could otherwise get if they'd keep their damn mouths shut.
I know.
What is wrong with that team?
I don't.
like no, but seriously, like it's like Jimmy Rutherford. I mean, like why do they? And I've complained about him so many times, and I almost feel bad because I don't necessarily even blame him. But whether it's Al Queenie or whoever keeps carting this guy out in front of a podium to bitch about his players or the direction of his team, or just openly tell him this guy wants to play with his brothers, so Like they just keep throwing gas on the fire, and it's like,
I know.
man.
And
Like,
his gameplay lately has been like he could care less.
It's ridiculous to me, man. Like
It's
even if the Flames are going out there with the wrong message to their fans, which God knows that's exactly what happened, it's super frustrating. They're still out there driving their players' trade value down, and they're doing it year over year. This isn't a one-time thing. Like this is ridiculous.
Look at the list of guys in the last 24 months that they've lost.
Jettisoned out of town.
Yeah. It's unreal. It's unreal.
Was it not just 2 years ago when they lost to the Oilers in the playoffs? So it's like, oh, this Canucks team is kind of up and coming. If Demko can stay healthy, they got Lincoln in.
They had like their centers were like Miller, Pedersen. Like they had like 4 centers that were just like off the charts great. And it was Horvat too. I mean, they had all just a line of them, and I'm just like, oh, made me sick to my stomach because I didn't want. I surely don't want the Canucks to be good, but
yeah,
no, it was mind blowing.
Moncton Wildcat alumni Connor Garland. He's going to fetch a good return to the trade deadline. He's a very skilled player.
Yes, he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but I know I hadn't thought much about them until you brought up. That's one thing I love about doing the show with you is that you always bring up things that have been percolating in your brain for a while, and you throw them at me, and I don't see them coming. Flames fans are upset about the fact they've been winning lately. You're upset about Maloney's comments or worried we're not going to get a top 3 pick, which we may not. Whatever the hell we're doing is way better than what the Canucks are doing. I can tell you that.
And maybe the Oilers too, because they still can't figure it out. I mean, they were down 3-0 to Buffalo last night, losing a shootout or overtime, I believe.
Yeah, they did.
They're another thing, but you know who's got it figured out? And this is probably my bigger surprise of the year is the Anaheim Ducks. Did you see them sitting atop the Pacific Division at this time of year?
Clearly I didn't, based on my horrible preseason predictions.
We'll bring those out at the end of the year, Kyle.
Can we not, please?
And you know what? I also saw a fact today that they have the easiest remaining strength of schedule. The Ducks do. And they're currently 19-10-1. It's pretty good.
19, man. That's
pretty
wild. Good for them. But they did it because, they got a great goaltender and some great young players.
Gosh, isn't that funny? Great goaltender and some good young players.
Right?
Wow. Seems so simple, doesn't it?
Well, it is simple if you actually commit to doing it.
Yep.
But I don't, and you know what? And the wheels might fall off that bus a little bit too because they are so young. It's unusual for a team that's that young and that talented to go through a bit of a dip. But they're doing all the right things.
Speaking of all the right things, I got to get your take on this.
You haven't lost a step in your illness and your absence. You know that, eh?
Oh, well, I don't know. The Olympics in Milan. Now the ice surface is 4 feet shorter, and the arena's not done, and they don't even know what the ice will be like. They're testing it supposedly in a week or 2. Does this not sound like really, really bad youth organized tournament, but it's actually for professional athletes?
That's far more polite than anything I would have conjured up. You know how when something happens in work and there's a big kerfuffle and you have to fix it, and somebody's like, "Oh, I don't care whose fault it is, we just have to fix it." In this case, I care whose fault this is.
Well,
I want to know who screwed this up so badly and how they did it.
I know.
Lay it on me.
It's the IOC. The Olympics don't care about the sport at all. They don't. All they care about is the money. They don't care. I promise you, the Olympic Committee doesn't give a rat's ass what the ice is like, or what the arena's like, or anything, because they want the television money. They don't care. They don't care at all. The only thing they're worried about now is they're thinking, "Oh my God, what if the league just says we're not coming?"
Do you have any idea how many homeless people get displaced for the Beijing Olympiad? How many homeless people got moved to build facilities for Olympics? And this is a fact. I read about this when I was in university. There's all kinds of stories about it. But to your point, it's a license to print money, and they don't care about the social implications, the cultural implications. It doesn't matter. Just make it happen. But even then, even though it's about money, the fact that they couldn't produce an arena or an ice surface to spec to make said money, you couldn't even do that.
And I know a lot of people have said, "Well, 4 feet's not going to matter. It's not going to matter."
Have you ever played on Olympic-size ice versus standard ice? It's a big difference. It's exhausting.
It's a giant difference. And now we're going smaller.
Yeah, so when you're going to the boards and you think you've got, an extra 4 feet and you don't, I think it's going to we're gonna see some plays where, again, hopefully nobody gets hurt. But man, like this is ridiculous. But I'd really like to know, like, who is the architect or the designer, the engineer that scripted this up? Like, I want to see that guy and see everything. It's like, so we understand the ice surface is 4 feet shorter. Any comment on that? Yeah. Went for a couple drinks the night before.
I thought about this. I don't know how long an Olympic swimming pool is, but if you made it a meter shorter, that's kind of a big deal. Right? I mean, if you're running or if you're swimming 100 meter and now you're going to do 99 meter, that screws every record up in the world and every, like, I don't know. It's just, it's being blown off like it's not a big deal. It is a bigger deal. And the fact that we're even having conversations about they don't know if the Olympic facilities will be done and stuff is just mind blowing.
Right.
It's mind blowing.
Did you see the SNL skit with Nathan Brigates about the metric system and American units of measure and all that in Saturday Night Live a few months ago?
I did not know.
I gotta send that to you. It's hilarious. As an American, I think you'll really appreciate it.
You know what? When I was a kid, they told us that we would be using the metric system within a year or within 10 years.
You know what drives me crazy as a Canadian is I tell people all the time, like, I don't speak metric because I work in construction, right?
Yeah, you don't do that.
No. I get these specs and it's like, you know, it's like 143 millimeters by 60. I'm like, and then I have to use Google to translate everything.
I know.
It's been 15 years. I think I just figured out what a 2x6 is in metric. It's ridiculous.
I don't understand.
Oh, God. Anyway, we got kind of sidetracked there, but yeah, to your point, Olympics, all about money. Ice surface is ridiculous. Can't wait to see how this plays out.
I know, and they have no backup plan, if that makes you feel any better.
No, but because I'm being positive, it doesn't make me feel any worse.
Well, good. Are you excited to see Hunter Brzustewicz tonight?
Extremely so. I was actually texting with one of his former coaches today, and he's pretty amped up for him too. Or yesterday, I guess we were talking. But
it was fun. It was fun having him on the show and visiting with him, and now we get to kind of see it come full circle. And yeah, let's see what.
Yeah, and this is different. You know that compulsory game 82, soon to be game 84.
Yeah,
game 82. Here, get a game in. Like you're wearing a jersey number you probably never wear again in a lot of cases. This is like a real audition, which isn't to say anything about his first NHL game because he still played well. And it still means something. It's just this is like, hey, it's the middle of the season. We've had some injuries. Which, by the way, how the hell have we not talked about Jake Bean's little deke fake the other night? Where the hell did that come from? Jake Bean has become so obscure. You know how hard I had to look to find a video of that on X?
He's hurt now.
Well, yeah, he broke his own ankles doing it. That was nuts. That right there was the play of a first-round pick. It was wild.
Oh gosh.
God, that was cool. I was so proud of him. I wish him a speedy recovery, but I hope he doesn't play another game this year because that's the note he should go out on. I was exhausted when we started this today, and I cannot shut up now. So thank you.
I'm just letting you go here. I'm just letting you go.
Like a friggin' wind-up toy.
Oh. What do you think of John Beecher? This will get you to shut up. This will end the show.
I liked the claim, and then a bunch of my friends are Bruins fans, and like, oh, I really like Beecher. My buddy Richard that I work with, he was a big, and he said the same thing about AJ Greer, and we picked him up. And I get it because he's got a little bit of jam to his game, pretty fast. The only way I said jam, anyway, pretty fast for his size. Like I think he's a useful piece. I don't really know that his ceiling is any more than a tweener,
No, I do know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I think I made it. I don't know if I told you that because we haven't done this in a while, but I think I made the joke. It was like I said the Flames put a claim in on John Beecher. When they put the claim in, like the other 31 teams had to wait like 2 weeks before they could even attempt to make a claim because the Flames were so bad. Like, I think the Flames make a claim. Everybody just sit down and shut up, give them time to think about it because they're awful, and we'll get back to you if they don't actually take the guy.
The sad thing is, November went pretty good, and December is even off to a better start. What's going on?
Well, averages are averaging, which is what they do. The math is starting to math. The player's not as bad as they seem to be. Wolf is better than he had been. Like everybody has kind of upped their play a bit, which is it's just a course correction. But the thing is like we're finally getting a little puck luck.
Yeah.
And the team is oh man, I just now got that coach screaming stuck in my head. Who was it? Was it the Colts coach years ago? They are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the Flats of Flames right now, painfully average. They're not that bad. They're exactly what we thought they were.
Which is exactly what we don't want.
Yeah, now I'm thinking of that bowling guy because I keep seeing that clip lately. Who do you think you are? I am. Just screaming his head off. Makes no sense. God bless that man.
Oh.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Let's go watch the Flames. This week we got tonight, Detroit at Calgary. Saturday, Calgary in LA for a Hockey Night in Canada battle. And then we're back talking hockey Monday night for a Tuesday drop. Back to the normal schedule, and I am so excited to say that.
I'm just glad you're alive, man.
I am too.
Like wife taken to the hospital, and like you're not doing our show, which I think you'd choose this show of your marriage some days. Like I'm certainly worried about you. Oh, yeah. Your wife doesn't listen to this, does she?
No. Oh. No, it's a pretty important part of my life. She knows that. She's good with that, though. She's pretty damn supportive of my Flames hockey.
I can tell.
Frustrate her. You know, I think this year she's caught off guard a little bit. Because in years past, a lot of my happiness was dictated by the wins and losses column.
Mm-hmm.
And now this year, she hasn't heard me yell, get excited, do much of anything. And she's actually asked me a few times, everything okay? Yeah. We're losing. It's okay.
Wow.
For a year. Not okay then. Can't believe it.
Only took to your early 50s till you became a mature adult, eh?
Oh, I can't believe I said that because I'm a hockey fan. I could be a winner, but there's a method to my madness.
I think it just comes with accepting reality, accepting your circumstances, making the best of them. And you know what? I hope I've turned this into some positive momentum for next week's show because I don't know. I really felt like I brought the positivity today.
You did. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, but I don't know if I'm more shocked or impressed by it, but I am.
Wow, I'm not sure what that says about me, but I don't think it's really good.
All right, Flames fans, enjoy this weekend's hockey action. We're back again, talking Flames hockey, regular show next week. Oh, I'm excited to say that. Have a good week, Flames fans. 1 week closer to Christmas. Enjoy.
Terrifying. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.